All right, everybody. Game just wrapped up a couple of minutes ago, and we've got our first data point as we start to put together the Seattle Seahawks 2026 season. And unfortunately, overall, I'd say it was not a very good one. Not a very good game overall. A lot of things that didn't go the way we would have hoped. A lot of things that didn't look so good. And while there are going to be some things we can call out positively, and obviously, you got to keep things in context because it is the first preseason game. Not the best way to start our title defense. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So, Cowboys 17-7. Seahawks lose by 10. And overall, I would say that there is some good stuff to take out of this game. But on the whole, you're looking at the trenches on both sides, and you're definitely thinking to yourself, that wasn't very good. Now, we got to keep things in perspective. Like I said, no starters really played on the defensive line or the offensive line. There are some guys on this team, however, who are trying to earn playing time and trust and the right to be a valued and effective backup on this team. And I think a couple of them did, but overall, we got work to do. So let's get into it a little bit, starting with some of the good stuff. Obviously, the first drive of the game was great, although the Cowboys helped with a couple of penalties, but 13 plays, we converted on some third downs. Montori Foster Jr., who might have been our best player today, or at least top three, Montori Foster played really well. You had Drew Lock making a really nice throw on third down into the end zone where Foster hadn't even turned around yet, and Foster turned around and found the ball and caught it in, basically an instant. So that was really cool. And that drive was great. And other than that, we didn't really score for the rest of the game. So that's the main thing that you're looking at in this game to try to get some positive feelings out of. And we saw a couple of plays for Elijah Arroyo. He had a couple of catches in this game, and it felt like there was a plan to feature him and utilize him. There was actually a play in the second half where I think it was Drew Lock. Drew Lock had the opportunity to find him in the end zone, but he threw it a little bit early before Arroyo had the chance to break open. So Arroyo could have had a really good game, but I still think that it was encouraging that we were trying to feature him a little bit. So that first drive by the offense was great, and Montori Foster made other plays throughout the game. So we got that. Milroe and Locke both had good plays. They both had moments where you were like, yeah, I feel pretty good about where this is. Especially using their legs. Of course, Milroe almost led the team in rushing, but Drew Lock actually had a nice play with his legs as well to extend a drive on that opening drive, actually. So that was good. That was promising. That was encouraging to see. Defensively, I'm going to say Tyrese Knight might have been our best player. Really good by him. Really liked what I saw there. There were some good plays by Riley Mills. And what else? Like, I know we only allowed the 17 points, but kind of got bullied a little bit throughout a lot of that game, I think. So I'm trying to think about other highlights on the defense, and it's a little bit thin to me. Mike Morris, I guess I can maybe call him out, but Rashad Rochelle, or however you say his name, great punt return. Dixon had a really nice punt that forced a fumble. And that is, I guess Cody White had a good kick return as well, or excuse me, a punt return. And that's kind of where the positives end, I think. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. So let's start with the offense, because that was definitely the side of the ball that was more viscerally bad, I think. We ended up with like 100 and not even 160 total yards of offense. Both quarterbacks, like I said, both quarterbacks had some good plays, but both quarterbacks also had some very bad plays. Drew Lock had what was it? The multiple plays in this game where he just didn't look like he was in sync with his receivers, and he just badly missed them. I think there was a touchdown he had to maybe it was Foster that he just overthrew. Like, it was open, it was there, and he just missed it. Missed a Bobo play, I think, on the first drive. And on 4th and goal, he throws it on a check down. Now, it wouldn't have mattered because there was a penalty on the play anyway, but why are you throwing a check down 10 yards behind the goal to go on 4th down? Like, you throw it into the end zone, even if it gets intercepted, it doesn't really matter that much. So, a little bit of situational awareness would have been good there. There's no benefit to throwing it at the, what was it, 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage on 4th down. There's really not much good that's going to happen there. You may as well go into the end zone. Milroe took 3 sacks, and there were some plays. And don't get me wrong, the offensive line looked pretty bad today. Christian Haynes had some really bad reps. Logan Brown looked really bad, and you see that his odds of making the team, which were already very small, are shrinking even more by the day. Mari Kite, like, I'm not defending those guys. Moranguez, there was a lot of bad stuff going on the backup offensive lines that we threw out there. But there were plays where Milroe could have not taken a sack, and he took a sack. He had a couple of careless plays. He had the aborted snap fumble thing. And overall, I came away from this game feeling like nothing's really changed from 2025 with him. So not a good start for Jalen Milroe. And I talked about how this preseason was all about trying to build confidence that he was improving, and I can't say I came away from this game feeling like he had. Now, the running game was okay when the offensive line was allowing it to be, and most of the competence we saw today was from Oluwatimi and a little bit of Bo Stevens. Bo Stevens did have a penalty in this game, but overall I thought he looked better than pretty much anybody else other than Oluwatimi. So the running game had its moments of competency. Halani looked okay. I do feel like when you watch Halani, you notice that he just doesn't have a lot of sizzle to his game. There's not a lot there other than functional running back stuff, but, it can work. And we have to keep in mind, we did not have a lot of the running backs that we're going to have this season tonight. Other than that, what else is there really to say? We had the one bad drop by Foster, but he made up for it later. He was, like I said, one of our best players. The play calling, on the one hand, I thought we did some cool stuff with tight ends and fullbacks, especially on that first drive, that indicated that Fleury, it kind of gave you a little bit of a window into Fleury's thinking with this offense, and I think it's a good thing. And I think we saw some cool stuff there. But then you get down to the red zone twice, and you come away with no points, and you get it inside actually, I think you got it inside the 20 a third time, and then you miss a field goal on that one because you go backwards. The thing that really stands out is you've got 1st and goal at the 5-yard line or something like that. You go run. Oh, it was outside run, inside run, and then shotgun on 4th and 1, where you give Milroe the ball and he just stands there flat-footed instead of getting him on the move, which is Jalen Milroe's game, or maybe at the very least giving him a run option or doing something with his athleticism. You just have him run a straight drop back like he's Sam Darnold or Drew Lock. And this is kind of the issue with Jalen Milroe, right? He's so different than Sam Darnold and he's not really a fit for what this offense does at quarterback, that you end up with a play like that where, yeah, if Sam Darnold's in the game, that play call makes some sense. But with Jalen Milroe, you should be getting him on the move. So that was a little bit of a concerning thing. And in general, I think going into shotgun on 4th and goal from the 1 is always a bad idea. And if not always, then almost always. And I don't know why you do it with Milroe in the game. And I don't know what you're doing there. Straight drop back on 4th and goal from the 1. So mixed bag from Fleury. I saw some stuff that I liked with the tight ends, but there's also some stuff that I thought was a little bit unappealing. So hopefully that gets better. I think we all knew there could be a little bit of a learning curve with Fleury, and hopefully tonight was part of it. That's most of the offense stuff. Defense, I already criticized the front line a little bit, but Isaac Suomalo getting driven back 5 yards on pretty much every play. Whole defensive line was just getting snowed under by Dallas's offensive line. And a lot of those guys, we know they're barely even backups. Mostly they're 3rd stringers and 4th stringers, but there's still an attitude and there's still an overall air of dominance that you want to project, even with your 4th string guys. And I'm looking at guys like Suomalo. I'm looking at guys like Devin Eastern. I'm looking at some of the 3rd string and 4th string linebackers we put out there, like Chaz Surratt. And I'm just seeing Dallas just run down our throat, and there wasn't a lot we could do about it. And just as an added bonus, no pass rush. There was very little pass rush today. We had no sacks. The little bit of pressure that we got was mostly unimpactful. There was a little bit here and there. I think Riley Mills had one really nice play. Although, even with that, you see Riley Mills getting pushed around against the run, and I think we need to understand that's probably just going to be part of the Riley Mills experience. He's an undersized 3-tech, so you're probably looking at him being more of a pass rusher, and you don't really want him to do stuff as a run blocker, or excuse me, run stopper. And just overall, again, the only guy I can really think of on that defensive front that I thought played well was Mike Morris. Other than that, maybe you throw Riley Mills in there too, but other than that, they were just getting pushed back by the Dallas offensive line pretty much all game, and there was basically no pressure. The only guy who got any kind of pressure in the second half felt like Jared Ivey, and Jared Ivey has a club on his hand, but the other guys can't really get anything. I think we ran a blitz at one point, and the blitzer got held, so that was a good play, but for the most part, Joe Milton and Sam Howell had all day in the pocket, and you got what you got. And what you got was Shamar Jean-Charles having a really rough game. He got beat up out there, and I'm not saying none of it was his fault, but it's easy to get beat up as a cornerback when you're not getting any pass rush. I thought that Igbenogany played fairly well in the little bit that he played. Little bit that I saw him, there was one rep where he lined up on the outside, which not expecting to see a lot of that in the regular season, but I thought that was good. I saw Bud Clark a little bit, but I didn't see much from him in terms of like positive or negative impact. So he gets his feet wet. Good to see, but nothing that really stands out to me. Yeah, just kind of getting beat up a little bit because we couldn't get to the quarterback at all. And the interior in particular was just getting dominated. Now, look, no Murphy, no Big Cat, no Reed. I understand all that, but I still think there's a level of play that McDonald would expect his team to have, regardless of who individually is out there, just because they're a part of this team. We didn't really get that tonight. So, yeah, run defense, especially later in the game, because early in the game when things were going a little bit better, I think Aiden Dirty was calling the plays. And then in the second half, as the game went on, you saw Carl Scott take over. And it felt like things got a lot worse, especially against the run. So that was probably a big part of it. Again, shout out Tyrese Knight. I thought he played a great game. He made plays in coverage and plays against the run. I didn't mind what I saw from Pat O'Connell either, but once you got past those two guys on the linebacker depth chart, not very good. Myers missed a very makeable field goal. And, this is a contract year for Jason Myers, so watch out, buddy. Got to make those field goals. Hopefully you're missing them now and you won't miss them later, but you are playing for your next contract, and after this year, you got no commitment. So let's give us a reason to commit to you long term. And like I said, Rochelle had the good kick return. Cody White had a good punt return. Other than that, a lot of penalties, but that's true for both sides, and I think that's expected for the first preseason game, but definitely got obnoxious to watch this game after a certain point because we just couldn't go 2 plays without a penalty coming out. And I think that's really about all there is to say. Just kind of a sloppy, messy game. Not really all that good. Some good stuff, some good moments. Like I said, shout out Montori Foster, who has carried his really good training camp over into the preseason now. I thought Halani did fine. Oluwatimi, Bo Stevens, I thought they both did fine. Michael Dixon had the really nice punt on the on the fumble. Tyrese Knight, maybe throw Noah Igbenogany in there a little bit. Mike Morris. Riley Mills had the one really nice play, getting penetration into the backfield. Overall, though, just pretty forgettable. And it's a learning experience, so excited to see how this team continues to evolve from this. And ultimately, it's low stakes, right? There's not a lot to worry about, nothing to get concerned about. It's just preseason, but hopefully next week they can do a little bit better and continue to work their way towards getting into regular season form. All right, so that's really what I can say about this one. I know it's a little bit kind of subdued and straightforward, but that's generally the right way to approach a preseason game. So do better next time. But we know what this team can do. We know what this team is capable of. We don't have anything to worry about it there. We just it would be nice to see it for a little bit at some point. And on some level, we did see it for a little bit during that first drive. And Dallas went 3 and out on their very next drive. That was great. But got to string it together a little bit more. All right. Streaming in like an hour, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but I will stream for a little bit later tonight. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everyone have a good rest of your evening.